Hello and welcome to this video where today I'll be going over 4 interesting Gothic theories which I've come up with. I hope these theories make sense in terms of lore because I'm not a hardcore lore expert. Anyway, let's begin. Number 1. Truth about the Seekers. Seekers are powerful enemies that start to appear in the game in chapter 3 onwards. They were sent by Beliar to seek you out and kill you, hence the name Seekers. But who are they? What's behind the robe? Is it thin air? A skeleton maybe? Turning into a Seeker and removing the robe reveals that the Seekers are human. The tattoos on the body of a Seeker suggest that they belong to a former sect camp back in the times of Gothic 1. This makes perfect sense. Let me explain. In chapter 4, Cor Angar, a former Templar in the swamp camp, tells us that upon the fall of the barrier, members and gurus of the swamp camp lost their minds.
What happened to the others from the swamp camp?
The last thing I remember is that the barrier collapsed, accompanied by a nerve-shattering scream. Stricken with panicked fear, we fell to the ground, writhing in pain. That voice, it grew ever louder. And then, when it was over, they all ran mad and disappeared into the bleak night, screaming loudly. I have not seen them again.
Beliar saw the weak mental state of all the swamp camp members and took the opportunity to mind control them. Think about it, mind control is a common thing for Beliar to do. We've seen it many times back in Gothic 1 in the swamp camp, as well as Pedro and Mario in Gothic 2. With all this information, we can conclude that the Seekers are mind-controlled gurus and novices of the sect camp who've been forced to attack the nameless hero. As for Lester and Cor Angar, they're exceptions. However, both of them experience strong headaches, like Beliar is calling them to join his evil forces. Number 2. Vatras is a pothead. Vatras the Water Mage is a character that plays an important part in the Jarkandor questline and in repairing the Eye of Innos. During the quest to repair the eye, Vatras tells you that it is super important to bring swampweed plants to him. This by itself is not suspicious. It's a very important part of the ritual, right? It's not. Vatras even forgets about it. Only later you remind him about it, and if you don't bring it, the ritual gets carried out anyway.
I did everything you told me to do. Here's the repaired eye.
Indeed, there is nothing missing now for the performance of the ritual.
What about the swampweed?
Ah, yes. Do you have 3 swampweed plants then?
No, alas not.
All right, then we shall have to make do without. You have done well.
Other than that, the tents set up by the water mages in front of the ruins in Khorinis have stalks of swampweed inside them on the table? This leaves unanswered questions. Do all water mages smoke swampweed? If so, why? One explanation is, members of the sect camp in Gothic 1 smoked swampweed to connect to the sleeper, so maybe smoking connects Vatras and the other mages to Adonos. Or maybe some of the water mages secretly enjoy a stalk of swampweed once in a while. We'll never know for certain. Number 3. Lord Andre. Lord Andre is quite an interesting character. There are a few things about him that seem a bit strange, given that his position is a Lord Paladin. First and foremost, he doesn't know anything about the Eye of Innos, an ancient artifact of Innos. Surely a sworn Paladin of Innos would know something about such an artifact. So either he's lying to us, or he's not what he claims to be, or something else. I'm not sure what to make of this.
Innos be with you, stranger. What brings you to me?
I've got an important message for Lord Hagen.
Well, you stand before one of his men. What is this about?
It's about a sacred artifact, the Eye of Innos.
The Eye of Innos. I have never heard of it, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. If there truly is an artifact of this name, only the highest members of our order would know anything about it. In any case.
That's why I have to talk to Lord Hagen himself.
Secondly, turning into him shows us that he does not belong to the Guild of Paladins like all the other Paladins. He belongs to the Guild of Militia. Furthermore, he's got a pretty mediocre weapon, a rough broadsword. Shouldn't he have a Paladin's sword? Lastly, Paladin Lothar's armor suggests that he's a higher ranked paladin than Andre. So why isn't he in charge, or any other paladin of higher rank for that matter? I'm not sure what to think of all this evidence. The most probable explanation is that Andre is a low-ranked paladin. That's why he knows less and has worse equipment. However, that does not explain why he's titled as Lord, and why he's in charge of this seemingly priceless militia when there are probably much more qualified paladins for the job. What do you guys think? Number 4. Eurozill in Gothic 2. This theory is more of an idea I like to believe rather than a proper theory, but hear me out. I believe the most powerful sword in Gothic 1, Eurozill, is in Gothic 2, known as the Large Ore Dragon Slayer. The blade can only be made by the nameless hero. The texture of Eurozill is very similar to the Dragon Slayer, it's just missing the blue gem in the handle of the weapon. That's all the evidence there is for this theory. That's why it's more of an idea than a believable theory. The developers probably just reused the texture of Eurozill out of laziness, but I believe the developers left it in there as a little reference to the previous game. I hope you enjoyed the video. I will be making more videos like this very soon, so make sure to subscribe. Thank you for watching. See ya.